Welcome to Timeless Voices. These interviews were recorded in July 2024. In this piece, you will hear Hope Elson interview Harry Mugford. Harry is an Inuit elder in Happy Valley-Goose Bay. He grew up in Happy Valley-Goose Bay and is 70 years old. We spoke to him at the Labrador Friendship Center. What was your childhood like?
Wonderful. You left the house in the morning and come home supper time in the summer.
How was your life different in them days?
How was it different? It was more easygoing. You didn't have worries. There's nothing to be afraid of. It was just a more happier time. Like right now, the whole world's angry, so it's a different world.
How did you get to school?
While we lived in the valley, I walked. It was Hamilton Junior, well, this building first, and it was St. Andrew's Anglican School, Anglican Moravian School, and then it was Hamilton Junior High, which is now Peacock. And we lived up the street here, so it was walk.
What was school like?
Really, really good time. It was the best time of your life, and you don't realize it till you get older. All you had to do was study a little bit, get some good marks, and it was just a really good time.
How far did you go in school?
High school and college.
What is your culture?
I'm Inuit.
What did you do in your culture?
Growing up, hunt and fish and stuff like that, out in boat and stuff, camping, out in tent over ice fishing. That was growing up.
How have you seen your culture change?
Growing up in Upper Lake Melville area, you didn't see as much of your culture as what your past was like, because around here, like, you went out the bay and you hunted and fished and you went up Church Falls Road, but you didn't see a lot of your, like, the old ways here, because everybody had electricity and running water and stuff like that. We didn't see of the old ways living here. Didn't see them at all. Growing up, we weren't exposed to it, so you didn't think about it a lot. It's not till you get older in life and you start thinking about your past and reading about it and stuff like that. That's when you got more aware of it. I think, like, young people today are the same way. Most young people, they don't know their past, so they're not practicing as much. You're further away from your past, and so you don't practice as much. But like I said, growing up here, we didn't see a lot of it.
Do you have any worries about your culture in the future?
In this area, Upper Lake Melville, it's a dying thing. Like, I'm a beneficiary of the Knoxville government. I think eventually you're not going to see any members here in this area. People, they move here from the coast, but as they grow up, they marry somebody not of their culture, and their kids are, according to them, your bloodline thin. So eventually you probably won't see any members of Knoxville in this area at all.
Why is it important to still practice your culture?
I think you learn from your past what you're going to do in your future. So if you understand your past, I think it gives you a path to your future, like the hunting and fishing, gathering and stuff like that. I think if you understand all that, you can, and you practice it, it helps with your future. Knowing where you come from helps you know where you're going.
How can the culture be preserved in the future?
I think they have to ease the criteria, because one of the big things was, once you turn 19, you could have your membership, you could be a beneficiary, but when you turn 19, you have to reapply, and you could lose it. And a lot of people do. And I think the criteria has to change of what they consider your culture and blood and everything else. It has to change. They have to remove some of the restrictions for people that are running the organization in the government. They have to change some of those restrictions as well, because eventually, well, living in Maine, like the president has to be able to speak in Nuttito. Eventually, there's not going to be, unless it changes language, there won't be anybody able to run because of that criteria. I think that has to change. I think that has to be eased somewhat. They have to be a bit more flexible in their membership.
Well, what kind of legends did you hear growing up?
In this area here, we only had the green men. You ever hear about the green men? I think that somebody started to keep the kids in at night because they used to say the green men were in the woods all around town, and if you're out around, they would chase you and catch you and do stuff to you. It's the only one we ever heard of around here is green men. It's quite common knowledge. There's actually in them days books about the green men. Your parents didn't worry about you, but if they, I think somebody thought up green men to control us, keep us out of the woods and being bad.
Where did you hear about the Green Man?
Every kid in Goose Bay knew about the green man. I don't know where it started, but every kid knew. You were, like when you were little, you didn't go roaming around the woods in the summer a whole lot. You bump into the green man.
How did the way you were raised shape who you are?
We were raised with well, we didn't have a whole lot, so we didn't expect a whole lot. 8 kids, 2 parents, and a grandmother. We all lived in the same house. It was a very gentler time. You learn tolerance, I guess, growing up. Taught me how to be more forgiving, I guess. I don't know, sometimes.
Throughout the years, what's been the biggest change you've seen?
The way of life. Like I said, it was more easygoing, was more gentle. And these days, like I said, everybody's angry. It seems like everybody's mad about something, and nobody has any tolerance for anything, and they fly off the handle for everything, and there's no need of it half the time. But that's the biggest change I've found. It's more busier, people have less time. The world's screwed up.
Were you married?
Yes, I was, yes.
How long?
45 years.
Did you have any children?
2 boys.
What was it like raising them in them days?
Hard, same way it is now. Teenagers don't change. No matter what year it is, you're all teenagers and you don't change. But adults forget they were teenagers sometimes, but that's what it was like. Once a teenager, always a teenager.
What is your advice for teenagers?
Listen. Listen. Always listen. Show respect, like Jim said, but listen. If you pay attention to things and listen, you learn a lot of stuff. So you can't go through life without listening. And when you listen, you understand things. You can never go wrong listening. You learn a lot of stuff. All kinds of stuff, which all help you.
What is your advice for people starting their careers?
Pick a career that you want to do, and if you don't like that career path when you're young, change it. You've got lots of time. But in the same breath, you've got to think about what's going to happen later on down the road. Like how you're going to support yourself, because like Jim said, you can't live on old age pension. You have to think about these things. But if you get in a career and you don't like it while you're young, get out of it, go do something else. Because I find schools these days don't prepare you for what you want to do in life. They don't. Not everybody wants to go to university. They should be teaching trades in school, stuff like this. Like, I don't know if all you people want to go to university or not, but like you might want to do something else like carpentry, electrician, welder. Not everybody wants to go to university. My oldest, John, he went to university for 2 years. Passed and everything, come home and said, it's not for me. And not everybody wants to go there. But pick something that you're really interested in and do it. And if you don't like it, change, go do something else. But don't do it your whole life.